Hello, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Daiwa. It is a US-80XA trigger spin reel. And I got this reel from Ken back in August of 2023, and we are now up to January of 2024, and I'm just now getting around to getting to it. So I think it's time. I've got a lot of his reels that I've had for over a year. So it's time to kind of get motivated and moving and get some of his reels caught up. Okay, we're going to start off by taking off the cover. Oh, by the way, this reel is functional. It's tight, but it's functional. You trigger the line comes out, you wind it. And I took the lid parts out. And by the way, the reel is functional. When you trigger it, it goes there. We can wind it in. It has a drag. Let's see about drag. Okay. Does it have an anti-reverse? It does not appear to have an anti-reverse. I have a feeling it has one, and it's just disabled at the moment. So we'll have to see what we can do about that, because I'm trying to visualize this reel without anti-reverse, and I just can't. So we'll see if it's supposed to have one or not. I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, let's go ahead. At least we know it's not working. Let's take off the cover. Let's clip off this excess line here, because it's going to all get stripped off in the end anyway. All right. We've got a nut that we need to take off on top, a screw nut. There we go. The rotor should come up. There we go, it does. Let's see what we got under here. Okay, that's dirty. It appears to be functional, although there's a possibility that that's a little bit worn down inside there, but we'll see if it still works okay. I think it'll be all right. Put that down. Okay, we're going to take this E-clip off, like so, and that should allow us to take off this friction drag washer here. Go. And it does not appear to have a metal drag washer, just the friction, which is kind of surprising. We'll have to check and see if everything's there. Okay, well, now here on the bottom, we've got a stack up of stuff. All right, this one here is going to be the main drag plate that goes right here. And then another friction drag. Okay, just 2 friction drag washers, that's it. All right, well, that makes it pretty simple. Okay, let's take that drag plate out. Get those cleaned up. And, all right, nothing there. This should be your drag bar. And probably when you tighten this down, yeah, see how that extends out? Okay, that applies drag pressure on this plate right here, which pushes it up against those drag washers. I still would think that you would want a metal one at the top, but anyway, I'm not the design engineer. So, all right, now we're going to remove this screw on this side. It goes through the handle and holds the handle in place. The handle should slide out this side. There it does. All right, now we've got 3 screws here we're going to remove. And I'm going to remove them using my electric ratchet that my grandson gave me for Christmas. And you just need to be careful with it if you're using anything like this. My carpal tunnel in my wrist are starting to get to me, so I'm having to shoot a little bit. I don't recommend you use anything like that, but I'm getting to where I'm having to use it now as my wrists are starting to give out. All right. Okay, we have an anti-reverse. This is it right here. All right, now let's look at the anti-reverse on this and see if we can figure out why it's not working. There's an anti-reverse spring apparently here. I think that looks like it's supposed to make contact on here somehow. But normally a spring like that would come up and move into something. Okay, let's watch our spring here. Okay. I think that's got to be held in that position right there while this goes on, and somebody probably didn't do that. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Okay, it's going to be all the way up against the wall there. I already let it go. Okay, what may need to happen is that you need to get this in place first. Okay, I think it's just old grease. Okay, the anti-reverse is working as long as it's like that. Okay, but you need, when you set this in place, you need to set the gear into the side plate and then set the side plate in, which is rather unusual for having to do on a spin cast reel. But I think somebody had it apart and didn't do that. All right, that's got that. Let's see what we find in here. Okay, that is a pretty stout spring right here that they have on this return. And your double spring action here, you got this spring pushing it up and this spring down here pushing it up, both at the same time. So that's a lot of spring action on this. I wonder how you go about taking this out. I'm going to assume that in order to take the axle shaft out, that you would have to unscrew this. So let's see what we can find. I'm going to use some Scotch-Brite because Scotch-Brite tends to be stronger at not allowing metal to pierce through to metal than what cloth is. So I'm going to use some Scotch-Brite on it. Grab hold of it. Well, it's already unscrewing without even grabbing to grab it. Like, I didn't even have to grab it tight. Okay. Okay. Now this should come out like that, and it does. Okay, those need to be cleaned. And let's take a look here. Oh, there we go. That's got that out. I did not really want to take that out because this is kind of a stout spring right here. But since it's out, and I'm going to have to put it back, we'll leave it where it is, which is in the out position while we clean this. And let's see if we need to do anything with this drag bar. Okay, it looks like it's got a horseshoe piece in here. Let's see if I'm correct about that. And I was correct. And it's a spring-loaded horseshoe piece. All right, so this piece goes in here, pushes in like that, and then this horseshoe clip goes into it. All right, so it's got that apart. Oh, there's also a shim washer here. And that shim washer, I think, goes at the top up inside here, like that, for the spring to ride against. Like that. Okay? All right. Then does this bar come out? I imagine it would unscrew out of there if we took all this, take that out, and then I think we can unscrew that bar down out of there like that. All right. And there we have effectively taking apart this reel, taking all the parts off, except this, and I don't really want to take this apart. We're going to clean it as is. I don't like taking these axle shafts apart, because every time you do, you stress this spring a little bit up here at the top. So if you don't have to take it apart, I'm going to say don't take it apart. But we will clean it real good, get all this old grease and dirt out of it. So I'm going to go to cleaning, and when I come back, all the parts will be clean and ready to go back together. All the parts are clean now, and we're ready to start putting it back together. We're going to start off by assembling this drag adjustment, and we're going to put a little bit of grease on the threads of that. And that's really about the only place it's going to need grease at this point. So we're going to slide that in, get it started down in the hole like that, and then we'll put the knob on here and use the knob to screw it in. Okay. There goes the drag. We're going to screw it all the way down until it's flush up against the body, like that. Now we're ready to put all this back together, and this is pretty simple. It's the drag knob, the shim washer, the spring. All of that's going to slide back on here. Okay, we are at 0 right now with the drag, so we're going to make that over here on this side, and we're going to slide that all the way on until this groove becomes visible. And I don't see it. Can you see the groove? Okay, and then we're going to slide this horseshoe clip in. Now, normally in reels, this horseshoe clip is used to hold the rotor on. Well, in this instance, its job is to hold this drag mechanism in. That. Okay, and now that's going to be adjustable, and that spring holds pretty good tension against it. That's got that in. Next to go in, we're going to work on putting the axle shaft back in. We don't feel the need to put any grease here, but what we will do is we'll go ahead and grease the pinion gear, we're going to put a dot of oil right here where this is going to slide. And then for long term, we're going to add grease to this spring to help keep it steady. Then we're going to put oil along the shaft here. Slide that in like that. Now we're going to put this back in, and this screws back in counterclockwise. Now this had come loose, and I'm going to tighten it a little more snugly than what it was in there. So I'm going to put that Scotch-Brite on there and just cinch it up a little bit. Okay, that's got that in. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't have put the trip lever back in first. Let's see. I may have to come back and take that back off. Let's see. Okay, this spring is going to go in here like so. And what we've got to do is get this spring to come over while we get this arm to go. Oh, that wasn't so bad. That's not all the way down yet. There we go. Okay, that arm is in. It's riding against the spring. It's riding on the other spring. And we're going to put, I'm going to lift this up just a little bit to create a little bit of a pocket. And then I'm going to put a little oil here. And let's work that in a little bit. And then push it down like so. All right, that's got that. And I think we're at the point where we're ready to put the side plate and the main gear back in. So let's go ahead and grease the main gear. Like that. Oil the crankshaft. And then we're going to come to this back side here. And we're going to put a little bit of grease back here for this drag. And remember your shim washers here. Put a little grease on them to kind of hold them in place. I'll put a little oil on there too. And now I'm going to take this and we're going to move this. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and oil the anti-reverse. It's been cleaned well now. Before it was kind of gummed up with grease. Okay, we're going to get this arm, see this little tag right here? I want that to stay in back behind there. Like that. And then we're going to pull this around. And I'm going to hold it in place like that. And then set the gear in place. Okay, now the anti-reverse will work. See it working? Okay. And let's go ahead. Don't tilt this over because it'll all fall out. So just stand it straight up. And maneuver that around. Get that to go in like so. And you are ready to put the 3 screws back in. And it looks like I missed a little dirt on the inside of this side plate. So far, so good. Now we're going to take this drag plate and we're going to put a light coating of grease on it. And what that'll do, not that it needs to slide or anything, it helps keep it from corroding up. I don't know how many of these drag plates in different reels I've seen all corroded up. And this may be stainless steel, but I don't think so. Okay, we're going to set this down. See this tag right here? That little bent over elbow? That's going to go into this slotted hole right there. And this other end of it's got to go on this post on this end right here. With that done, we're going to put in the 2 drag washers. And now those, I'm going to put some universal drag grease on. Not a lot. We don't want to slather it with grease. I'm just going to put enough that it keeps it moist. Slide that one down. We're going to do the other one. And then take the spool. Make sure you don't have any line trapped under it like I would have had right there. Slide the spool on. And slide the last drag washer on. And then goes the E-clip. Like so. Okay. I'll put the handle on. And this handle can be installed on either side. Let's put on the rotor. I've cleaned it good. Let's go ahead and put a little fresh grease on it down there. Let's slide the cap on. And the best thing I found for this is to pull down the trigger. Oh, hang on. Let me clean the dirt out of here. Okay. Hold down the trigger, line up the flat with the flat on the axle shaft so it will slide down. Then put this plastic nut on. All right. And now, when you pull the trigger, this pin should go in, and when you wind it, it should come back out like that. In, out. Okay. Let's put the cap on. Screw it down. Let's see if we have anti-reverse. Oh, apparently we do. Okay, there's our anti-reverse and our drag. Drag is at minimum. Let's tighten it down some. Oh yeah, that was a little too much. Okay, see if we can find a happy medium. Oh yeah, there we go. And I'm going to strip all that line off of there. It's not going to go out that way. There you have the Daiwa US-80XA trigger spin reel. And how to take it apart, service it, get it back together. And I hope you liked the video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Tell me what it is you didn't like about it. And for now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.